Welcome back to the No Tact Talk podcast, where the only rule here is to have no talk, no tact. So, oh my gosh, I said no talk. That proves it. It's a perfect segue into my first statement. Little housekeeping rules. It's been a minute, y'all. We back though. Army has yet again, taken my life away. Took me to Canada for 30 days, multiple ranges, multiple Army stuff. I had to pick. To pay my rent or to do a podcast. So until y'all start sending me some cash apps, I think I had to work, right? No, but we're back. It hasn't been that long, right? You know, the stuff we talk about in the podcast a lot is about balance and about making sure that you're good. So I didn't want to just put stuff out because I had episodes and stuff lined up, but I knew I wouldn't have been my best self, right? I knew I wouldn't have given you quality. So we are back yet again. 2 years in with No Tact Talk podcast. So I might just ask some applause right here because as me and my guest I'm about to introduce, we're talking earlier, this for a long time. You know, I think in podcast world it's a long time to be consistent, but whatever. We'll get to that here in a second. So I have, we love bios here. So if you've heard any of the episodes before, new listener, old listener, even you, my guest, we love bios. I never read them out. Like specifically, I just kind of go through it, right? Because most people don't like hearing about themselves like in like a what is it? Professional format.
True.
So author, speaker, podcaster, founder of Under Construction, LLC, I might add, because so many of y'all struggle with that for some reason. LLC, right? Royal. This is what we have today. She has done so much. I have seen her just be motivational to uplift women, uplift people in general. I mean, fancy dresser, workout extraordinaire just recently. Be on the gram doing crazy workouts I've never seen before. Just whoever your trainer is, good job to him or her. Devoting her life to helping women and men build their confidence mentally, physically, spiritually, all the leads in life. We have Royal Boles. Instant applause here. Welcome to No Tact Talk podcast.
Right. Thank you. I feel like you should introduce me at the pearly gates.
Hey, if that was a job in heaven, God, put me on. I'll be right in the front like, all right, bro.
Yeah, you would do a great job.
Yes.
For sure.
I'm making my exodus right out of the Army in like the next year and a half. And I've been I got all this like military training and stuff, right? So it's one end, pick a job in that area, which is like probably more money. And on the other end, I got all this podcasting and recruitment and sales and the other end. So I'm in between, like, what do I want to do when I get it? That's where I'm at.
You can't combine it all together.
I've been trying, but like, you get government. They want you in Washington. Washington's like public affairs kind of stuff. And it just be like, yeah, it's talking, but it's just, I don't know. I'm not like a suit guy. I'm not a suit guy.
Right. Got you.
Yeah. So anyway, enough about me. How you feeling today? Let's just start real small. How you feeling?
Great. Thinking of working out. I went this morning at 6. I haven't worked out in 2 weeks. So my first day back was yesterday.
Nice.
But today was pretty easy. Yesterday was horrible, but today's pretty easy. So I'm good physically. Mentally, pretty good. I think yesterday was just a rough day all the way around. Yeah. I don't know. Mercury retrograde is like really kicking my butt.
So, but please explain to me what that is. I see it all the time, and like a girl would be like, "Oh, this retrograde is killing me right now," and then it'd be like 70 comments like, "Yes, girl, like I can't take it. Like the moon, the clouds was purple yesterday. I don't know what's going on." Can you explain?
I'm not that in depth into it. I just know certain things tend to act up, like communication, transportation, those type of things. So when you see like your computer or something isn't working or anything technology-wise is kind of having a unnormal glitch, it's because we're kind of in Mercury retrograde, which is why they also say don't sign any major contracts either.
No,
why I don't know, but
so is it like the actual planet? Mercury?
I think so. Yeah. Again, I'm not like a professional in it, but I just know when we in Mercury retrograde.
But don't things happen bad like that all the time? Or is it, how do you know when it's like, oh wait, like retrograde?
I think it's just not as normal. I think it's just inconsistent. So for instance, I travel all the time. So
Okay.
like my last trip, my flight was delayed twice. Even when we got on the plane, we kind of just sat there.
Uh-huh.
So I could tell like something just wasn't right. Normally it's just like, okay, it got a little 30-minute delay, but this one was like 2 hours and I sat on the plane for like an hour. So
So you telling me
it's
when
a
we not in
unnormal.
retrograde, people don't get their flights canceled or
They do, but I just think it's unnormal. Like retrograde is just
uh-huh.
like times 10.
Okay.
So it's just like your life times on steroids.
So basically, if you meet a so you like the what's the other stuff? Virgo, Leo, what is that? The signs.
I like it, but again, I'm just not that in depth into it.
So who would you not date on
A
the
Leo.
signs? So okay, so you had an answer right too quick. I don't know.
But
Why not? You know, I get
that's
it.
just
The
because
guy that you probably talked to was trash. Oh my god, hey Leo's forever now. Like or he could just been a trash guy.
no, no, because I've tried dating a couple Leos, but Leos
Yeah.
are they're lions. So
Okay.
they're very just and in your face.
Right.
Right. And I'm an Aquarius. I'm just very free. And so I
You
don't
like
like being
water?
controlled.
Sounds like you like water.
Surprisingly not.
Don't Aquarius like
Kind
water?
of, sort of. Well, we pour water, but I don't think we like it.
You pour water.
Like we're not a water sign.
Oh,
I
it
think we're
sounds
an air
watery.
sign. So we're just.
So
I
it's
know it
like
does, but
Avatar. You ever seen Avatar?
sure. Yeah.
No? I know y'all see the
Yeah.
stuff behind me. I'm a super nerd, whatever. You know, he can control like the elements and stuff, right? So you like air. You like, I guess flying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
That
understand
right
here.
there.
Okay, so if I'm a
Yeah.
Virgo, I'm August 26th. That's Virgo, right?
Yeah. I think either that or Leo. I don't
So,
know.
so what's my characteristics? Do you
If
know?
you're a Virgo,
Yeah.
I don't know. Most of my best friends are Virgos, so I don't have anything bad to say. I just think you guys are really cool.
Hmm. Okay.
Because I'm an Aquarius, so if I like you, then you get a pass. We don't like anybody.
I feel it. I always ask people about that. I just think it's so interesting because I get how where you at, United, it's kind of interesting, but some people will not make a life decision if that person is or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I
Hmm.
mean, I can't talk to you. We just met. I could be your soulmate. Nope, I don't care. You a September Leo, or they get specific. Like you a first week Taurus, first week of the month Taurus. I don't know.
That's how
Uh,
I am with Leos, though. Leos are just a no go. They, especially July Leos. So
okay, so you heard it here
I'm good.
first. Roy does not like Leos. All right, I wanted to ask you a question. So I put these questions, I sprinkle them in depending on the person. So we have our different segments. So we're gonna start off with a segment that's usually fun at the end. So if
Okay.
you could have any superpower, what would it be, and how would you use it to make money? So you don't have to be a good person.
Uh,
You could be a villain. Doesn't matter.
what would it be, and how would I use it to make money?
Yep. So I had I use myself as an example since it's been a minute. I want to have super speed. All right, I want to have super speed. I'm slow. I'm a distance guy, not a sprinter.
Hmm.
All right. But also growing up, my brain's always super fast. Found out I had ADHD a couple years ago, like real heavy. So why? So in terms, if you ever seen one episode of The Flash, what happens when he's running at super speed? What happens for him?
I don't know. I've
Everything,
never seen
every,
Flash.
everything else slows down because he's going so fast. Everything is slow to him, right? So he can kind of
Okay.
move, dodge the bullets. All I want is my brain to slow down. So if I had super speed, I could do stuff like that. My life wouldn't suck as much.
But
So,
wouldn't you be like ahead of your time then? Or would
what
it
you
just
mean?
only be for certain moments?
Well, I would definitely like be like in the Olympics or something. That's how I used to make money, but
Okay.
I'd just be like I'll never get hit. I'll play for Alabama and I will re-enroll in college and play for Alabama and be the best. I mean, anything they would have ever seen. I'd be the best kicker
Okay.
ever, just fast kicker. Um, probably be in the NFL. So, Well, so what would yours be? It has to help you out, right? Something that's convenient for you. Oh, I would love to do this. Like, what sticks out to you?
Um, I want to read mine.
Okay, why?
Well, originally before you finish the question, because I don't be understanding why people think the way they think,
Okay.
and when you ask them, they don't know how to articulate it. So
Mm.
I just feel like if I can go into your mind and kind of get the thought before you even get it out, by the time you get it out, I already understood instead of
Wouldn't
getting
that? But
frustrated.
where's the mystery in life then? You know, where's the figuring it out? You get bored pretty quick, right?
No, because there's a lot of people in the world, so I wouldn't try to read everybody's minds all at once.
But you definitely reading your man mind, and that would tear
So
y'all apart. That would tear y'all apart. I know it would. I can't take this no more. Can't take it.
anyway,
Think about it.
I would use
If you could
that
always read this,
would.
it's some stuff you're not supposed to know. It's just not, and it goes both ways.
Well, I feel like if he knows that, he just needs to not think about certain things when he's around
How does he what?
me. Find a blockage that he can put up. That way, I can't get through his. I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
now he gotta have superpowers to protect himself from you.
Right?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How would you use it to make? So you gonna work for the FBI, CIA? What you gonna be the master
Yeah.
interrogator?
Do that, and then also, billionaires already, just kind of when they think they have a problem, I'm already knowing what
Ooh,
problem they're thinking
master
about, so I come up
consultant.
with the solution. Yeah.
That's fire. Okay, I like that. Other people have said it before. They've never said that. That's like a super great idea. Okay, great.
Hmm.
So under construction,
Yes,
your
with an X
baby with an where's the X at? I gotta look.
after the U.
Boom.
CONSTRUX.
What's the X for?
Because I just didn't want to spell it the regular way.
You're not basic. You heard it here. Okay, great. You're not basic. So this is
I
your
really have to
baby.
come up with a reason for the X. So
You gotta make it deep. You gotta like say something like the
yeah.
X stands for marking the spot of your life that I fix and mm. And they be like, oh wow, it's crazy. I didn't even think of it. Yes, right. And it's
Right,
after the
right.
U. It's after the U. Oh, so how did it? I was under construction birthed. Like, where did it come from? Like, what was the reasoning behind it? Take us there.
Oh wow. So you remember like Bebo days?
Yeah.
So whenever I was having like a moment and just kind of needed to detach from social media,
Okay.
I would always put under construction.
Hmm.
But it wasn't until I wrote my book in like 2016 when I was looking for a title for it.
Okay.
And that incident popped up when I was just like, oh, I always put under construction when I'm going away from something. And so that's how the name came about. The X came into play because I was playing with letters. I think I was
Yeah.
trying to spell it CK or K or something. And so I
Okay.
was planning for my book signing, and my event coordinator, she's like, you should put an X. And I was like, thank you.
Okay. So when you go on the social media hiatuses, right? What do you
Hmm.
do? Like what's your process of doing it? Obviously, we know social media can be the worst thing ever. So we get it.
Yes.
So, but what do you do to reset and to construct?
Oh my goodness. So just recently, well, before I would just kind of get off social media in attempt to spend more time with God,
Yeah.
although it never went that way. I think my motives were always wrong, but that was
Mhm.
always the attempt. But just recently, I've just been trying to, like, as in July, I think I went on a sabbatical.
Okay.
That's when I actually got off. I got off a couple days before I went on my sabbatical. Spent time with God, read, kind of plan more stuff for under construction.
Mhm.
And then when I got back, I stayed off social media because I knew tests were about to happen and I didn't need the distraction.
How did you know tests are
Um,
about to happen?
because you can ask God for one thing. So for instance, when I got there, I was just kind of like, okay, this is my moment of asking God, hey, rebuild me, do
Okay.
this, that, and the other. And although everything felt good there, it was when I came back to my element that I knew I was going to be, faced with different situations. Because I mean, when you just secluded, you ain't got nobody to mess with you.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
paying for patience. I'm not getting tested with patience because I'm
and
by
people
myself.
just
So
assume that you're gonna get this magic CD-ROM that you can just slide into your wrist and you have patience. No, the
right,
trials develop your patience.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I always ask people how God talks to them or how they feel that I guess a shift or a season or the
Hmm.
retrograde, right? It's about to change. Because for me, it's usually like scripture, right?
Hmm.
So many people, I could, man, I got at least 40 emails since I started this. It's like, how does God talk to me? What do y'all mean when you say, "Oh, God told me this," or what is
Hmm.
going to the Lord? You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm talking to myself,
Right.
like, and I would like to hear other people's explanations because sometimes it's like words, sometimes it, they expecting like some random person. Now this could happen. All this the crazy stuff that we see on TV can definitely happen. God is dope. He's God, right? But it's not some. Hey, is your name Royal? I came here from Spain. I took a flight. I spent all my money just to tell you this one thing. Write that book or whatever. Right? That's what I think people. Now, it could happen, right? But I think people expect that. But usually, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Is usually like your own voice, but it's a little bit different. Like it's in your head, or usually it's like you're reading the scripture and you thought about something maybe a week ago, and that became the confirmation, or just little small things tend to happen. I know for me, maybe for you too, I got to shut up a lot of times just to hear anything because
Hmm.
I'm always in my own head. And I feel like, guys like, yo, you doing too much. How am I supposed to talk to you if you boom, boom, boom,
Right.
Is that kind of how it is for you? Or what?
So I think I'm completely different
Okay.
in a standpoint. Now I know sometimes he does talk to me. I can think of things in my head.
Yeah.
But I'm not that, I guess, mature to hear from that standpoint. So with me, I think he comes to me mostly in dreams.
Okay.
So like if I'm praying to him for something, I'll notice something in a dream. Although I can't definitely like interpret it right then and there. I know it was something I prayed for. And it
Mm,
was funny that you said people because I went to a conference in Alabama like a couple weeks ago at
okay.
the Rock. And when I was there, like I was praying, I was like, God, I need an answer for this. I need an answer for this. And in that moment, I just felt like he didn't give it to me by the end of the conference.
Mm.
Fast forward to 2 weeks later, I was walking in church and this lady, she was like, Rebecca. And I was just like, who are
What?
you?
Okay.
But
Okay.
turns out at the conference, we had held hands and we were praying for each other. She remembered me. I didn't remember her.
Mm.
And so she told me that God had gave her a word to give to me that night that she didn't give me. And that was the word that I had been praying for.
So it was still supposed to
So
be that day. Wow.
but
Huh.
it still resonated in the moment she gave it to me. But what I had been praying for, if she would have given it to me that night, then that would have been like, I guess God talking to me in that moment.
Yo, it's funny though, because obviously he knows when stuff's gonna happen.
Hmm.
When stuff happens like that, because if that would have happened to me and I was praying, I'd have been like, bet. I would expected it like every time. Oh, this is dope. And so I probably would have just like not done the same process to get there. So I feel like stuff don't happen for a reason a lot of times because you know how you getting kind of
Right.
emotional at church in the moment,
Uh-huh.
and then you leave and everything calms down. I try to like
Yeah.
merge those two to make sure you have some continuity. Anyway,
That
so
makes sense though. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, because you gotta look at your, I guess, imperfections as well. Because a lot of times it's us and it ain't God, which is we have to position ourselves properly before anything happens. You know
For
you're doing
sure.
that. You know you're doing that one thing bad. That's the thing. That could be the lock on the door. They say, you right. Get rid of that one thing. Focus on that vice or that issue, whatever, and boom, you good. Because now you guys are all right. You ready. You grew up a little bit. You decide to do the thing. That's what's up. You got your baby and the book, right? So I want to talk about the feelings you had when you say, "Hey, I'm gonna write a book." Like, you know, right? I'm sorry, it's my dog, everybody. Tighten the dog, he's two now. When you say,
Oh.
oh my gosh, I think my wife just got home. That's crazy. No, bro, is it really loud? It's pretty
No,
loud.
I don't hear anything.
No,
I don't hear the dog or anything.
that is awesome. That $20 was worth it. I'm telling you, no, I put a little cloud filter on my thing. It's supposed to
Hmm.
cancel everything out. That's beautiful. Look at God. All right, so
Yeah.
you writing the book. There's nothing in front of me, and all of a sudden, a book is supposed to be here, right?
Hmm.
So what, you feeling anxiety? You feel like you got it? Like, are people gonna read this thing? Like, how are you feeling?
So the first time I wrote my book, because this is the rebrand process of it. So the very
Okay.
first time I wrote it, I was going through a dark place in life. So
Yeah.
was actually journaling. I was journaling. Then my mom, she was just like, "So are you gonna cry about it the rest of your life, or are you gonna do something?" And I
Yeah.
was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna write a book." Not really thinking anything of it. I think it was just me just trying to get all my thoughts onto a piece of paper. So wait, no, let me rewind.
Okay.
So she asked me that question first. She asked if I was going to cry about it or if what I was going to do with my life. So I
Mm.
went in my room and I started journaling. In the midst of me journaling, I was talking to the person that the book is about, and we kind of got into an altercation, which made me even more emotional. So I'm journaling even more. By the end of the night, I had pretty much written a chapter's worth. So I was just like, might
Man.
as well turn it into a book. So at that point, I'm just writing different thoughts, kind of putting them in order. And it wasn't until after I got all my thoughts on paper that I actually made it a
Huh.
story. So
Huh.
first time writing the book, I just wrote it just to write it. I think that was just, it wasn't, do I care if people read it? It was just me just trying to quote unquote heal.
So why a book and not like a video or a rant or a blog? Like why a book?
Because at the time I had just got out of the modeling industry. So I wasn't
Okay.
trying to be in front of a camera. I wasn't trying to talk. It was just, I was getting into the whole writing process.
Mm, okay. When I was going to therapy, she was telling me to journal. Can't do it. Can't. I had to do audio journaling. So I'll probably
Mm.
come out with like a if I did the same thing you did, it'd probably be some super long audio book. Man, that's crazy. Okay, now
See, I'm
if
scared
go ahead.
that'll get leaked. So when
What you
I
mean?
journal at the end of the year, I just burn my journal to kind of release everything that took place earlier that year.
I like that. So
Yeah.
you would write a letter to somebody you hate, and then get the emotions out, then throw it away. You ever done that?
I don't do that. I just journal. So at the beginning of my journal, I just
Ooh,
say, "Dear God," and I'm just super transparent for however many pages it takes. And I
dang.
date it and I put the time and
And
see what
so
happens.
before you burn it, do you read through it and kind of go back and be like, oh man,
Uh-uh.
I've grown. What? You don't even reflect?
I thought about it. I thought about it, but I'm not good at. I'm good at holding grudges. So I feel like
Me
if I go
too.
back and read it, then
Me too.
I'm gonna
My
be thinking about
my
it.
sister had a boyfriend at one point in time. This was like, I mean, bruh, I can't even tell you, maybe like 7, 8 years ago. And so for 2 years in a row, went over there for his birthday, like my birthday party, whatever, hanging out. Yeah, Jay, I got you, bottle of crown. I got you, man. You earned it. It's the back of my head. So every time I was talking about today, I'm like, bro, I never got a bottle of crown. Next year, same birthday. I still remember that. I saw him the other day like, on Facebook. I was like, bro, he owed me 2 bottles of crown. It's the first thing that people just be saying stuff. I be holding you to it. You say something,
Me
do it,
too.
right? I feel it. You're
Me
not
too.
alone. And I don't think we wrong.
I
People like
don't,
people
because you
like let it
shouldn't have said
go.
it.
They be like, let it go. It's gonna consume. I said, it ain't consuming me at all. But I remember.
Right now, I
you know
can't trust you.
exactly. You give me a bottle of crown. I can't trust you with nothing else, bro. It's wild. Okay. So you turn into a story, and this is still on the brand of like, I want to help people. I want to, tell this story for others, right?
Or at least that's what I thought I wanted to do the first
Okay.
go round.
So take me there.
So the first go round after I wrote it, I think my mindset was to show, quote unquote, show the person that I got over them. If I'm being honest and
Mm,
transparent, it wasn't more so for my healing. It was just more
okay.
so showing them, hey, I'm doing better without you,
Dang.
which quickly took a turn because I was consumed with trying to prove something that I
Yeah.
didn't heal. So I found myself back in a similar situation.
Okay. And so did the book, you still release the book after that? Is it still out?
Yeah, because I have released the first, and the first one is called Under Construction. The second one is called Under Construction Evolution. So
Oh.
that's more so, yeah, the one that
So
we're talking about.
so the first one is like it's like a story. Like what is it about?
It's the same story.
Okay.
So I wanted to, I came to a point in life where I didn't know what I wanted to do with Under Construction
Uh-huh.
anymore. It was just kind of like, okay, wrote a book, blah, 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 blah. Some people like it, some people don't.
All right.
So I went to talk to a clothing designer because I wanted to start a distressed clothing line. I was like,
Okay.
under construction, distressed clothes. That kind of sound, it makes sense to me.
You're an idea person. I like that. Okay.
I am, thank you.
I-
But after talking to him, he kind of like just shot it down because he was like, everybody
Mhm.
doesn't wear distressed clothing. And I was like,
Okay.
so? And he was like, and I kept giving him all these ideas. And so he told me, he said, Rebecca, you are a weed and not a tree. So I was just like, that's disrespectful.
What?
And so he was like, with weeds, when they come out the ground, they go everywhere. And he
Uh-huh.
was like, that's what you're doing right now. He's like, I need you to become a tree. I need you to have one idea. And
Okay.
when you sprout up, now you have different branches.
Okay.
Because with a
He
tree, you get a
saved it.
root.
He almost got
Yeah,
slapped.
he did.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
was like,
Okay.
because with a tree, you have the root. So you have a firm foundation.
Yeah.
And so he was like, what you need to do is go back and re-release your book. I was like, man, I don't I don't want to relive that. I don't
All
want to
right.
reread that. Like, that's the route. And so I re-release Under Construction, but I turned it into a journal. So now at the end of each
Mm.
chapter, whoever reads it can go on their own journey with me.
Oh wow.
And so, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then okay, so now so in between the first book and then now the evolution, what happened in
Uh-huh.
between then with under construction as a whole with
Oh, so
you?
now I'm more in tune with the story. So I'm more, because I had to force myself to heal before I re-released it.
What was that process look like for you to heal?
Um, to really dig deep into what it was I was trying to teach. So I can't re-release a book about heal. Well, I can't release the book about healing when I'm not healed. So I kind of had to dive deep into what it is, the places that I'm not healed in,
Mm,
or if I feel like I'm healed, let me challenge myself to see if I'm really healed. So I just kind of took a moment of just trying to get to learn Rebecca again
okay.
or Royal, whichever
Yeah.
sounds better.
Sometimes well no, sometimes I feel like Jay and Jonathan are two different people. Right.
They
Uh
are definitely.
a lot of a lot of extroverts. I don't know what you identify yourself as, but a lot of extroverts are, most extroverts kill themselves to go completely left, right? And they be like, "Oh my
Mhm.
God, Jay, he was so happy. He was always doing this, that, and third at the podcast." But like, bro, we be going through it, and
Right.
nobody ever asks us for help or fills our cup or all, any other ism you have for that, right? But I think
Mhm.
introverts have a little bit better because they kind of internalize stuff. It sucks. We all go through stuff, but like I think they have better ways of self care as a general statement. I know everybody different, but we're
Mhm.
just so out there. And then once somebody like I'm gonna speak from my experience, once somebody does me wrong or goes against my grain or whatever, that's why it's such an extreme emotion. That's why I still remember that crown because I'm always there for everybody, right? I make it a point to be intentional and I'll say it. I don't just do the thing. I'm like, hey, I'm here for you. Boom, got it. If I say I'm gonna do something,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do it. I speak it out loud. Hey, this is what I'm trying to do to make sure that nobody has any uh miscommunication. You know what I'm saying? So if you still do the wrong thing, I'm like, oh, this is personal. No, they could have just did whatever, but it's personal to me because I told
Right.
you this is what I needed. Um, and that I think everybody has to find their way of healing in a healthy way, right? I think that's
Yeah,
what you're
for
kind of
sure.
talking about too. But I think they want to know because we gonna put the link and everything in the bio for the book, all that type of stuff. We're not getting your business, right? But
No, you're
what
fine.
what what ways did you heal? Like how proactively? Like what did you have to do? Because they say time heals all, but like okay, outside from time.
Um, one thing that I realized immediately was I was still battling with low self-esteem.
Yeah.
So I had to force myself to spend time with myself because I just feel like if you don't love yourself, then you can't expect anybody else to. So I purposely started the physical part. I purposely started taking myself on dates. Like, hey, we're gonna go do this. We're gonna purposely do that without asking other people to go. Like without asking my friends, hey, you want to get your nails done? No, let me
Okay.
do this on my own. Um, mentally, I started with the whole journaling process and just kind of looking at myself in the mirror. I was listening to a sermon by Pastor Michael Todd,
Yeah.
and he was just pretty much like, look in the mirror. If you can't look at yourself in the mirror, then we already got a problem.
Oh, okay.
Um, and then also to forgive yourself. That's what I had to do and take ownership. It was just like, okay, Rebecca, these people hurt you, but what part did you play in it? Because you played a part. Like you're not the victim in every situation. Like you
Mm-hmm.
played a part. Maybe you had an ulterior motive. So I just kind of had to literally like just sit myself down in the bathroom, look in the mirror, love myself, but also be hardcore as well.
Love. So where's the line? Like where's the medium? Like a little between love. What does that mean? I'm confused.
Because some people, when when they love themselves, they're just trying to spoil yourself. Like
Okay.
in some standpoints, it's like, oh, okay, I can go buy myself this, I can go buy myself that. But I feel like when you love someone, you have to give tough love.
Okay.
And so with me, I had to give myself tough love. I can't just baby myself and be like, oh yeah, you're okay. They hurt you. You did this, they did that. It was just like, okay, Rebecca, no, you went in with this mindset. They
Mm-hmm.
played you, but that's your fault because you shouldn't have went in with that mindset instead of just trying to forget my part in the situation.
Okay. Yeah. That's mature. That's mature of you.
I mean,
Okay.
you have to in order to get to
Huh.
the whole healing process, or else you'll go around playing victim the entire time. What did you do?
Oh, they don't want to hear that. The
Of
ladies don't want to
course.
hear that one. No.
But
So,
yeah, I think you just have to ask, what did you do?
that's kind of the same dynamic I used to have when I was training people. You know, they'll work out, do every exercise you tell them to do, but we'll go home and eat like a chocolate chip cookie, a cake, or just
Right.
still eat the same habits. So for the first 2 weeks, when I took on a new client, it'd just be like at Starbucks. We just sit down, we just talk, and I had to get the real reason of why you want to work out. Yeah, I want to. Cause I hate people that I don't hate people, but I did not like people who just like I want to work out just for this dress. I want to fit in this wedding dress, or
Right.
I got a vacation coming up, and I want to make sure I'm good. Okay, so what about after that?
Right.
Because I'm into like we trying to build new habits here for like ever,
Hmm.
not just for these 6 months. And so I think that that's so good what you're doing because it kind of forces people to like make that overall change instead of just like a band-aid. Be
Right.
Neosporin, not a
Right.
band-aid. Heal the wound.
That is true, which goes back to after the first time I wrote the book.
Okay.
I just, was just kind of like, oh, I did it just to say, I wrote a book and I'm better
Yeah.
without you. When in reality, I should have healed from the book because I put everything on paper. So I should have went
Yeah.
back, read through it, and learned from my mistakes. It wasn't until I had to, I was getting ready to release the second one that I had even read the first book.
Or you never even
I
wait.
actually remember I had never read it. I mean, I
Okay.
wrote it,
Yeah,
I
but it's
sent it
different
in.
reading it. Yeah.
Yeah, I sent it in and they edited it. They gave it back to me, and I just looked at the edit. I didn't actually go through and read. I remember a
Oh.
stylist told me, he said, Rebecca, you're not going to heal until you read your own book.
Ooh.
And I was like, ugh. I was
Cringe.
like, you know what? You're right. You are absolutely right. And I read it all the way through in one night and cried the entire time. And that's when I knew I had
Uh,
to self-reflect.
so is it just you doing it by yourself? Did you, I mean, obviously God played a role praying, right? Did you go to
Hmm.
therapy? Did you have other people? You said stylist is his name or her name?
Yeah, who mentioned it?
Okay, you had other people that kind of like made you get it, or what was that like?
Um, I tried therapy.
Okay.
It wasn't for actually the healing process. I think I tried therapy because I was in a relationship.
Okay.
But she also certain things that she said kind of helped. Um, I think it was just more so just me talking to God
Mm,
because I wasn't open to hearing other people. I only wanted to hear like the good side of things. I wasn't open to hearing the critiques. So
okay.
I just didn't talk to people at all.
Yeah. Everybody's motivated differently. I figure out. I think I said something like that on one of the accountability calls we had. But you
Hmm.
gotta figure out like what's your internal like your why, because mine's gonna be different than yours. Da, da, da. But man, I don't know. I've had so many conversations with people who it's crippling, like
Hmm.
looking at just like even when you talking about it a little bit, I'm looking kind of like it's your body language. It's like, maybe a little uncomfortable. And that's what we do, like look in the mirror and being able to say different things or talk to different people. Like it does make you kind of feel uncomfortable. And um just people finding their way is just so important. And that's why when I started this podcast, I always tell people like, yeah, I wanted to do something, want to talk, want to get everything out, but it became like a therapy for me because the stuff that I'd be saying sometimes, like, yo, like I
Hmm.
didn't even know that was in there. Like, just trying to relate to the conversation and drive along, whatever. And I was like, I should probably
Right.
work on that. I should probably like go talk to somebody because I think when I found out I had ADHD, bro, we was in I think Applebee's, and so like
Wow.
we was in Applebee's and I was crying. Like we maybe had like one Long Island. We wouldn't even like lit or nothing, right? We had just got there, didn't even get the appetizer yet. And I just started talking about my mom, my dad, and my siblings. Like life sucks. And I went down this little spiral, and I'm crying in Applebee's. Right? My wife, like, I thought this was supposed to be a fun night. And she over there looking crazy. Like, and I realized that I like you said too, I never addressed any of this
Hmm.
stuff. I pushed it away. I said, forget it, blah, blah, blah. And it's gonna come out. Like the trauma, the relationship, the family, the daddy, mommy issues, whatever, that stuff is gonna come out. So you always I'd rather be uncomfortable, like you're saying, and address it, like what you did
Yeah.
now than me be crying at Applebee's.
That's
Are you now like
when people don't know what's going on.
yeah. So I encourage everybody listen to put that stuff into perspective, man, because it will eat away at you. Stress, trauma, drama will literally kill you. It's
It
wild.
will. And I think it's starting to show now, just like in our generation and people's actions and stuff.
Wait,
Like
what you mean?
you be out and about and people just say certain things and do certain things and they can't explain why they did it.
Mm.
And I think it's just it's slowly seeping out. It's not like just in your face. You can just tell like in people's actions, like something ain't right there.
So now that you've healed and you've grown a lot more, and you see people with a similar issue, what did that do for you? Like that right? You
Hmm.
say you see them like I don't know deflecting or whatever else. What's your approach generally?
I ask questions. I simply ask questions because I feel like, especially in the situation, you
Mm-hmm.
can't tell a person what to do and what not to do. And I feel like giving advice is not the smartest thing.
Okay.
So I tend to ask a lot of questions in the beginning and then reverse their questions back on them, almost like I guess a psychologist, so that they can think about the answer. Because it's almost like I was talking to a girl who had got out of a domestic violence situation.
Yeah.
And people just be like, "Oh, you should just tell them that they should get out. They should do this. They should do that." But they're not, because it's like telling somebody no. Now you want to actually go do it. So I
Mm.
asked her. I was like, "What could anybody have said or done to have helped you out the situation?" Because I mean, me telling you to get out is not helping. So
That's fair.
what could I do or say? And she was just like pretty much like just be there. Just be there and make me think about it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then I just use that when people come to me and talk about certain different things. I just take whatever it is they're talking about and just turn it into a question.
So forcing them to kind of get to the water themselves, lead them to the
Mm-hmm.
water.
Because now you have to deal with the part that you played.
Okay. So I see what you're doing here. Okay. So okay, I like this. Okay. So now we're at evolution,
Uh-huh.
right? Evolution, you said, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. Make sure you know I'm listening, right? This is like the kind of the same book, but more mature,
Mm-hmm.
under construction on steroids. Like, okay, this is the real deal, like what it should have been, maybe.
True.
Okay. So you're writing the mature parts now. The
The ending part.
oh, the
So
ending.
it's more,
Okay.
yeah. Well, yes and no.
Oh,
So
take
I'm
us there.
more transparent. So
Okay.
the first part of the book, I took out a few chapters. I put in different things in the first part.
Okay.
So the second part is called Life After Construction, because that's
Okay.
what I wanted my second book to be. In my second book, I was married with kids, white picket fence, all of
Yeah.
that. Clearly, I'm none of the above. So in the second part, I list different drafts that
Okay.
I wrote to in attempts to make the second book. So you'll see like draft
Mm.
one, and it'll show you my literal draft that I wrote, and it never made it anywhere. And I came to the conclusion that one, there is no life after construction, because
Mm.
you're always under construction.
It's a
Like you're never
pilgrimage.
this right. You're never this perfect person. And then two, I don't think in the process of me even trying to write the second book, before I even finish it, I had to finish my healing process.
Mm-hmm.
Because here I am again, falling back into what took place the first time. It's just kind of like, oh, I'm doing this because somebody told me I should, but I'm not completely healed right now. So I
Mm.
think that was another reason why life after construction did not happen. And you got the evolution because it's me being more transparent with my readers.
So on your Nipsey, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Pretty much.
Boss
The
status.
last book might get that title, but I don't know.
So it's gonna keep going after this.
If it does, it'll just be one more, and it'll be life after
Oh,
construction for real.
okay. Oh, so that's gonna have the white picket fence.
Yeah, yeah.
So is that something that you've always wanted, like the idea of the perfect family kind of thing, 2.5 kids and a dog, whatever?
Oh, not necessarily the perfect family, but I do want a husband and child, at least one. I'll take
Yeah.
one. Not many, but we don't have to be like in a white picket fence. We can be on a
Well, you want to
condo on the
reach a
water.
certain
It's fine.
level in your life, right?
Right, right. And I feel like being a wife for once and then a mother for two is a goal for me.
Where'd that come from? Seeing your parents, or
I grew up in a house. Yeah, I grew up in
okay,
a household with both my mom and my dad, and I always said I don't want to bring a child in the world without having both parties committed in prison.
so does that mean you're married, or you just committed in prison? I'm just asking.
Married.
You gotta ask
Good,
these
good
questions now.
question.
You gotta ask the
Good
question now. 'Cause some
question.
people like, no, I love that girl, man. We 12 years in, we in the same house. We got a common law, dog. We good. Why don't you get married to her?
Not
I don't know,
common law.
man. I don't want the federal government in my life, in my marriage. She could take half, so you might not love as much as say. Okay,
You're
that's actually,
right.
well, no. So I can respect both sides, but there's this big like shift in what the quote unquote relationship looks like, right? I know we
Hmm.
especially us being from the South kind of raised like on those type of morals and
Bible
morals.
Belt.
Yeah, right. Get married, do the thing, whatever. I still have a lot of that for sure. But who am I to say that your way doesn't work? I always thought that when at brass tacks, you obviously need to have that trust. You need to have, an understanding. Because some people got like
Hmm.
Man, I've talked to people, bro. Like finances are weird. This is that. That kids do this. Like the child go to the mama a Mormon, right, and the dad's a Baptist, right. So that's two Sundays he a Mormon, the kid, and then the other two he try Baptist. And they say by the time he 10, he'll figure it out. Whatever. This is our thing. The term that you were looking for, people, is equally yoked, right? That's the Bible. Well,
Right.
I don't even know if it's in the Bible. I think it's in the Bible, yeah. Equally yoked, or you on the same page, right? Um, but you got to make sure like you on the same page because I think
That's
we
true.
assume a lot, and then once it's finally there, it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
It's too late to assume. So you got this, in my opinion, I would tell people when marriage counseling type of counseling with another person, that's the hard time. Marriage counseling ain't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to like, okay, the big ones like, religion, kids, type of lifestyle. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
crunchy peanut butter or smooth, like that could ruin a marriage. It's not the big stuff usually. It's the
That is
small
true.
stuff.
Pepsi or Coke.
Or at all. I'm vegan. I just drink water and LaCroix. A terrible drink. So what you said you pretty serious guy now, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So
Yeah, we're pretty. We talking.
if you were to talk to somebody, male or female, whatever you identify as, right?
Mm-hmm.
What should someone look for in your perspective in a mate in a relationship? Because
Oh wow.
while you think on that, I saw something that it kind of perplexed me when people say like I'm dating to marry instead of dating to date. And I'm like, well, you gotta go on dates to see, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. And
Yeah.
everybody has you scroll through Facebook for 10 minutes. It's like, well, y'all aren't taking me serious enough. I'm in my new sense. Like people say stuff that it can be very true, but it's just a lot of fluff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but brass tacks, like as you grew and realized, became more mature, you helping other people, giving advice, right? Because you've been through it. What does that look like for you when you say, "Hey, I'm ready to do this"? What's your checklist or what you got?
My first thing is a protector.
Okay.
And not just physically. I need someone who can protect me emotionally and spiritually. Because at the end of the day, I'm a female, so I'm an emotional creature. I don't
Yeah.
care what anybody has to say. I'm emotional at the end of the day, and so I feel like when I present you with something that's important to me or that I deem is important, you listening or making me feel safe in the moment. You don't have to have a solution, you don't have to know the answer to it, but I want to be able to come and talk to you about any and everything.
Yeah.
And it's a safe place. Of course, being able to protect me physically is another thing because again, I'm a female. Although I can take it there,
He gotta have
I
muscles. He gotta have muscles.
with some kind of strength.
Some
Got a good aim or something.
a
I don't
black
know if I
belt.
can say that, but
Got gotta have some type of skill.
right, you gotta be able. And then once I have kids, that's just
Yeah.
um I just feel like with children, they have to be emotionally stable. Yes, the finances is good, and we've actually had to talk about that
Yeah.
because he's rather successful, and he's just kind of like, oh yeah, I'll just send the assistant to come get him. No, you're not. Like,
Oh, you
no.
assistant. Okay.
If they're with their grandparents, we're going to go down and get them. It's just something about giving your child that sense of security.
It's
Uh,
interesting you say that. I'm not trying to cut you off, but
mm,
I think that's a big issue for guys that the more money we make, we feel like we don't have no problems after that. Because I mean, I know that for a fact almost. It's like, well, I'm making six figures and what we arguing about? Like, you got a duvet, you got a gold spoon, you got a whatever. What I pay all your bills, and what do we? Why do you want? And it's weird for us to, I guess, big one too, validating feelings, right? So I heard you, I feel
mhm.
it, but that's my big thing. It's like we was just therapy a while back for that. Like, what does that even mean? Like, well, you gotta make sure she feels heard. Like, I heard her, I responded, but you're not, like that whole little dynamic.
Mhm.
That's something big for sure for me. But anyway, go ahead.
I think that's probably one of the most important ones. Again, finances is nice. Like finances is cool.
But
But I guess I'm thinking long term as far as
okay,
kids. Because I mean,
yeah,
I grew up pretty good with, finances and stuff like that. But me and my parents, we have had a talk that it was moments that came when I just wished that they were there emotionally.
mm-hmm.
Like, y'all bought me everything in the world, but what about those moments when I really needed you when I was crying? So, being a protector is most important for me in any aspect.
Okay.
I can just about probably tolerate anything else if I know that you can protect me emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
What
Who you
about
submit to
looks?
is very important to
What
me.
about looks though?
Of course, because 20 years from now, if I gotta be able to look at you.
Let's talk about right
I
now.
don't go.
You know what I'm saying? But he got a
I
good
mean, yeah.
personality. He makes it, but he
Mhm.
does not look good, or she does not look good. People
No,
always forget
I've
that
done that too.
they feel like they're being vain. I think you reserve the right to want to roll over in the morning and see something you like.
Of course.
You know, but people like, no, it's okay. I'll take a 5. I ain't taking no 5. I want a 9 or better.
Because money can disappear. Now y'all just sitting there just looking. And how do you get out of that situation? Like you
Yeah,
just, yeah, looks are important. Looks are important.
because we can try to, be our best selves all the time, but at the end of the day, when the makeup off and the J's are off, that whatever, who are you? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like you gotta be honest with yourself. Like, what do you like? What do you really, really like? And go with that. And then
Hmm.
you get better. But they have to have like that look. You gotta look good.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Something. And
Something.
then if it's just something simple, like now they just overweight, we can hit the gym.
Yeah.
Teeth creaking, you can get braces. But
Boom.
overall, I mean, yeah,
Okay. So looks,
something to work
protector,
with,
and then you said obviously have to be like Christian or believe in
provider.
God. No, you said
Hmm.
who you submit to. So how we view it, God, man, woman, children. So the man, so okay, age old question. So the man is getting the first plate, but the child's getting the first plate of food.
Oh, my husband is
Okay. Go buy the book, y'all. She
definitely
good.
my
She
husband.
good.
Yeah, my husband getting that first plate. The children can wait.
Well, no, what you seen there, I'm sure. Like, no, my kids come first, and he can make his
Mm-mm.
own plate, and blah 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 blah. Right. And so, what's that dynamic look like for you? I know like the girls like I make my own money. I don't need this. That's a Mr. Roll dead. That's back in the 50s and whatever. What you think about all that?
I'm not a big fan of it. I now although a woman could quote unquote do everything, so can a man.
Yeah.
But we're two complete opposites. You need opposites attract. You kind of need that balance, that dynamic. No matter how hard you are, how soft you are, at the end of the day, you need
Mm-hmm.
somebody who completes you. Now, I don't even want to say the word complete, but somebody who adds value to you.
Okay. So they talk about gender roles, right? What do you think about?
Hmm.
I guess. I mean, I get the guy would take out the trash, right?
Hmm.
Or that's how I was raised. I take out the trash, cut the
Yeah,
grass.
but if
The
he's
wife,
not there and it's overflowing, I'm not gonna wait for him to get back to take it out. I mean, I just
you
feel
get your
like,
hands dirty.
I mean, yeah, because I just feel like, especially if he's been out all day, or
Yeah.
let's say he's on vacation or something, I'm not gonna wait a week for him to get back. And so he walks through the door, he just smells trash and stuff,
Mm.
just because that's the man's role. Like,
Okay. So what?
and
What about?
also
Go
me, I
ahead. Go
kind of
ahead.
look at it as if he's been working like all day, if it's something simple that I can do to take off his plate, then I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't, because I would hope that he would do the same.
Okay. What about that video that's floating around? I'm just picking your brain here. I love this. That the guy's like, well, I work. I can hire a maid to clean. I can hire somebody to cook. I'm very successful. What does the woman bring to the relationship? And the girl's like, well, I make the house a home. Like, he's like, what does that even mean? Like, you know what I'm talking about? That
For
that
sure.
video? What do you feel about the guy? He could just pay for everything and he good. He said, I think he just said, I just need you for, I don't know, just for sex. And it was something else too. He said, what do you provide besides sex?
I
I'm
just,
just asking.
I
I'm neutral.
every In reality, everything that he says is correct. You
Okay.
can't pay anybody to do anything. But I think at that point, you're looking for someone to be emotionally detached from.
Okay.
Which if that's your lifestyle and you don't want to be attached to anybody, cool. But as a woman, when she says that she makes the house a home, that's kind of reality. And I've had this conversation with my friend before because it's also like when people be like, the girls be like, I am the table. And so
Yeah.
I actually sat down and I evaluated it. And although I haven't quite wrapped my head around it, I kind of agree. Because for instance, you have a table,
Okay.
you have the legs, which make it stable.
Mm-hmm.
A woman, I guess, actually, we talk about not necessarily perfect woman, but she brings stability to a man's life. Those are your legs.
Okay.
Um, the table, you place, for instance, food on the table. A woman is a nurturer. She nurtures the kid. If she has a husband, in some point she nurtures the husband. So in reality, if you want to break
Mm-hmm.
it down to each piece, she is the table, not from a cocky standpoint, but she provides certain things that a table provides. The chair is stable. You have to sit in the chair.
Yeah.
She's the stability, but in the family. The man is the head, but she's the neck. She makes it. She helps with the decision making.
Mm.
So that's how I
Okay.
see it.
No, yeah.
I don't like it from a cocky standpoint where it's like I am the table. I can do this. I can do that.
That's
But
why.
no, if it has substance, then I'm cool
Yeah,
with it.
that's why I think that they always miss. Obviously, it's for views and stuff, but they always miss the I guess the humbleness of it. That's the two people on the same page. Whatever analogy you use, that hey, we bring we both bringing something to this one thing we call a relationship or a marriage. But I think the guys probably got hurt because I know you said women are emotional, but I think guys are way more emotional than female. I mean that's just a fact. We just hide
I
it.
can believe it.
We just and that's how won't hide it better because I'm girl will be like I don't know girl. One day he just flipped and now he in jail. Because we just suppress it. We just suppress it for years, and one day they forget the tartar sauce for your fish, so you forgot it or something, and then all of it just comes out. Because bro, you never talk to nobody. You never. It's only some in the barbershop visits you can have, bro. You gotta talk to your lady.
Yeah.
You gotta give different perspective. So we gotta work on ourselves too, man. We can make all the money in the world, but you still got mommy issues. Call a spade a spade. You know, just be honest.
That
Okay.
is true. That is true. But
I
I feel
go
like
ahead.
y'all also, it comes out in like slick comments
Oh yeah, passive
with
aggressiveness.
men. When
Yeah.
yeah, when they heard it comes out in slick comments. But with women, we don't. I think some women don't know how to just look over it. It's just kind of now we headed back to.
Both parties recognizing like if you this is a only if you know that person for real, right? But both parties recognizing the other person's isms and giving grace in those moments.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's super
Oh,
huge,
that is so hard. That is
bro.
that's what I am learning currently, like to
Man,
extend grace.
that's a
And it's one of
marathon.
those. Ooh.
That's a marathon right there, because it's the quick look. I could just say this and end it
Mhm.
all right now. That's why yo bum, bum, bum,
Mhm.
bum, bum, right.
Yeah.
That's man. This is good. This is good. So I definitely I gotta go get this book for one. So
Same.
do I have to buy the first one and get the second one? Should I?
No, I would prefer people to just buy the second one. I'm gonna discontinue the first one eventually.
Oh,
But
so go get the first one now before we get discontinued. That way, when it blow up, I got the original.
then you got the original.
I got what's they called the unfiltered version. Then I got and
Yeah.
then I don't know. I'm telling you might have to re-release the first book once this one skyrocket, and then that way people can actually like see because life is all about growth. People love a story.
That's
I,
true.
I
In
you
the
got I
first
can't
one,
wait.
you could hear my hurt in the first one.
Yeah.
Whereas the second one, you can kind of hear the maturity in it, but the first
Mhm.
one, you could feel the hurt that I was going through as
But
you
why
read
is it
it.
why is it people only want the hurt and never want like the the mature version. They don't want the broccoli. They want the candy.
Right. I think because misery loves company. When you feel like, and it's almost like people who just stay in tune into drama.
Yeah.
Like misery just loves company. Yes, I relate to this person, but they're hurting like I am. They're not perfect, like
Mhm.
I'm not perfect. So it's just
So they can let it burn,
mm,
and you got it bad, but they don't want to hear the. They don't. Nobody wanted to hear the Happy Usher. His
right.
worst album when he got married. Now happy, nobody cared. Mary J. Blige made her whole career off of sadness and desperation.
Hmm.
When she was just fine, nobody cared. Nobody cared about that song.
Right.
Anyway, last
That is
segment.
true.
Last segment. It will let you go. Um. So no matter what, no matter if we're talking about World's New Book, no matter if we're talking about pencils or football, I want to make sure that people get a word of the day, right? So this scripture
Okay.
is proprietary business term. Look it up. Watch Shark Tank, right? To you, okay? This is for you. Out of the 2 years of my episodes, I've never recycled the same scripture. Now, obviously, I will run out one day. Somebody's gonna get Jesus whipped. It's just a fact. Somebody's gonna get First
That's gonna be a powerful
Kings,
message, though.
man. Somebody's gonna get Jonathan begot, Royal begot, Kiki, right? Somebody's gonna get that. But until then, um, this is something that I usually like to think on a little bit, pray on a little bit. I want to make sure people get word. So I'm gonna read it, and then I'm also going to give you an opportunity to talk about it, and then we'll be out of here. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Let's go. This is a rough one, everybody. You might have to Google this one. It's Ecclesiastes. You don't hear
Ooh.
that one too much. Okay. Yes, it is a book of the Bible, right? Ecclesiastes
It's also a
11 and
book on
4.
wisdom, isn't it? Is
I mean,
Ecclesiastes about wisdom as well?
yeah, that one, Proverbs. What's the ones that was Paul was talking to Timothy on? Timothy's, a lot of them. But yeah, this one's one
Yeah.
for sure. 11 Ecclesiastes 11 and 4. Don't ask me how to spell it. Whoever watches the wind will not plant. It says, whoever watches the wind will not plant, and whoever looks at the clouds will not reap. We all heard reap what you sow. I'm breaking it down. I know you might know what we mean, but I got to make sure everybody understands and track it.
Understood. Understood.
Whoever watches the wind will not plant. So, um, this one is, I think, dealing with procrastination. All right, because I took it exactly what it says. We always get to the deep stuff later, right? But hey, cool. If you're watching the wind, you supposed to be playing outside, bro. What you doing? You ain't
Mm.
gonna eat if you just sitting there and there enjoying the weather, right? And then it says, "Who
Hmm.
looks at the clouds? Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap." So you sowed a thing, and then you're not gonna reap anything if you just sitting outside. You know how you gonna get in the club?
Mm.
Can't even get in because you look at the cloud. You know? It's for me. It's legit. Stay focused. It's we always talk about reaping what you sow, planting the good seed in the good ground, just doing the hard work. But a lot of times our head can get stuck in the cloud. Sometimes just feeling the wind in our face is better than getting down dirty where ain't no air,
Hmm.
you know. A lot of the, like you talk about the wisdom books, a lot of it isn't popular because talking about hard stuff, especially in a church, it's hard. Like, we have this thing called prosperity gospel, you know, where people just go to hear a good word. They want to feel good. But when the preacher tell them to actually work on your trauma, your drama, whatever, I don't know, that was kind of rough. Yeah, it was rough because you got to grow, right?
That is true. That
And
is
but
true.
the kicker is, the reality of it is, a lot of preachers are still, they'll do 80% prosperity gospel, let's say you a whole year, because that's what gets people in the door.
Hmm.
Don't get me started on my little rants about church stuff, but that's it's just a fact. They know that I'm always leaving them feeling good. Yeah, ties go up, everything's good, but it's a shame that preachers have to prepare the congregation. All right, we just got out of prosperity, this 4-week thing on prosperity, or be like Michael Ty, week 37 of boom, right? But I gotta prepare y'all for this next one. This is gonna test. You know, I'm sure you heard, right? It's gonna test you.
Right.
So, and then
Right.
even when we talking to our friend, like you said, you can't just say, "Girl, lead that man." You gotta like, what would you do, right? We gotta like take
Right.
people slow. Because here people always say, I want that friend to tell me how it is. No, you don't. You lie.
You
I
don't. You do
don't.
not.
Because as soon as I do, now you deleted me. Real true story. As a friend on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So I'm gonna read it one more time and you tell me how you feel on it. So it says,
Whew, all right. Let me get
whoever
my
watch
school thinking.
whoever watches the wind will not plant, and whoever looks at the clouds will not reap.
Okay, so what I took from it is definitely stay focused. But for instance, I feel like a person who is always comparing themselves from a certain standpoint.
Yeah.
So when you're watching the win, so when you're watching somebody else and how they're
Oh,
quote unquote elevated,
yeah.
you don't get there because you haven't even started round one. So you can't get to where they are because you
Mm.
too busy watching them. So you to not start your process.
We got a charge for this episode. That was I didn't even think about that. That's crazy. Yeah.
So yeah, I just think you haven't done this because you're too busy doing that.
Mm,
And so I look at it as far as a comparison.
dang.
That's what I took from it.
That's fire. Wow. Okay. That was way better than mine. I just should just
No, it wasn't.
no. And speaking of, hey, y'all be on the lookout for her podcast coming out too. All
Yes,
right. You
under
know, look out for the
construction, the
under construction,
podcast.
the podcast. We want to look out for that. So we'll make sure we make that a
Whew.
mid roll for one of the next episodes. I'll put it on there for you.
Thank you, thanks.
Where can we find you? Where can we find the book? Give us all the things.
Oh wow. So you can start with the website, which is underconstruction.com.
Does it have the X
Construction
in
is
it?
spelled
Okay. Okay.
ConStruction. Also on Instagram, Arthur Royal Boles. So that's AuthorRoyalBoles.
Okay.
Thank God for editors because I don't
No,
spell
that's fine.
anything
We're gonna
right.
put it all in the description. Just click it.
Also on Facebook. So you got Arthur Royal Boles on Facebook. If you're not too fun or trust my website, it's on Walmart, Amazon, Books a Million, and Barnes and Noble.
Everywhere. Official.
Yes. Not
Mm.
Target yet. Once it hit Target, mama, I made it.
Yeah. Is it that hard to get in Target versus the other ones?
It's more so Target has to reach out to you.
Oh,
They send you an
they so
email.
bougie with their
Of course they
perfect
are.
shopping carts. Hey man. All right. Cool.
So yeah, Target has to reach out to you. But as soon as I get that email, I'm not going to work. I'm not doing this. And I gotta focus with guidelines. So
Boom. Well, I
yeah.
appreciate you coming on the podcast. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. This is a great
Me
coming back.
too.
Yeah, so
Thanks.
thank you for gracing us with your presence. Super great conversation. Y'all go get the book. Y'all go listen to all the podcasts she gonna put out. Everything I can say this for sure. Everything she puts out is solid. It has been studied. It has been researched. A lot of people just put out stuff just for whatever, but I do know this is good ground that you should look into.
Thank
This has been another
you.
edition of the No Tact Talk podcast, where the only rule here is to have no tact. Y'all have a great day. Peace.